Hello, golf fanatics. It's Billy Ho's Sports here for a preview and research show. Heading over to the Carolinas, the North Carolina area, for the Wells Fargo Championship. And this is a signature no cut event, 70 player field, preceding the major championship in my local hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, the PGA Championship coming up the week after this one. So we're going to get after it this week, and I'm going to immediately start putting together some special stuff for Valhalla. So Wells Fargo Championship, what can we say? The stats will be powered by Fantasy National Golf Club. So uh, go ahead and jump on there and subscribe to it. Subscribe to my channel. Smash the like. Join my DraftKings contest. It's already out. AKA Free Drop Billy is the name of it. Billy Ho's Wells Fargo. Get in there. So in this show, we're going to cover that weather. We're going to cover that course. We're going to cover those players, stats, all that kind of stuff that will fit this Carolina masterpiece. And we're going to toss in some pivots at the end. So stick around for that. Let's get started. So, unlike Wells Fargo, the company, my gambling accounts are not made up. If you remember that back in the day, they used to make up accounts, but mine is legit. And Billy Ho's Wells Fargo contest is now live. So jump in that. The weather is going to be stormy Daniels this week for Thursday and Friday. Showers both days with severe stuff on Thursday, maybe leading to delays. But Friday looks pretty steady, sustained, not bad wind, but just kind of a steady rainfall. So with warm temperatures, I don't think it's going to affect play much at all. Lift, clean, in place. Maybe they might go ahead and implement it Thursday, but it looks like Friday's definitely a good chance, maybe even Saturday. Like I said, only 70 players in attendance. So AM, PM like type wave stacks are unlikely. But what I like to do with these is stack tee times. I don't know if they're going to go off on 1 and 10. They with the weather, they could definitely do that because they don't want to be out there dicking around with trying to go off 70 players all off one tee. So I'm going to go ahead and play it like we're doing 1 and 10. So I would prefer maybe not to have a guy on late Friday afternoon just in case, or in the afternoon on Thursday when it's bad. So keep an eye on the weather because, you know, you don't want those last few holes on the back nine to get you in some kind of weather conditions. So, Quail Hollow Golf Club, par 71, 7,500 plus yards, beast of a golf course. Fairways are decently generous, but they are wide. They're 33 yards wide, tree lined, narrow sight lines, lots of dog legs. Driving distance is key, but fairway accuracy is not that important. The 2-inch rough is like fescue and ryegrass. It's not bad at all, but you can get lost. You can get in trouble behind some trees and get some really bad angles leading to some big scores. So it's especially important because with the weather and softer fairways, there could be less runoff into those hurt areas. Like sometimes they set those fairway bunkers up to make those extra 350-yard drives roll right into those bunkers. But if the course is nice and soft, you're going to see bounce, bounce, stick. And if you're in the fairway, it's going to be even more important with that possibility of preferred lies, aka lift, clean, in place. Because if you're in the fairway, you get to pick your ball up, wipe it off, set it back down, play it like you were doing it at home, like you do with all your buddies, basically. So guys like Rory with that 330-yard carry is a big plus because Quail Hollow can be daunting. You saw it already. Opening 6 holes need to be carefully managed. But after that, you got a few scoring holes. Hole 7, must birdie hole. Decent chance at eagle. That's the first par 5, the only par 5 you see on the front 9. 8 and 10 are attackable as the back 9 begins. Then the back 9, you do have the 2 par 5s plus a short 344-yard par 4 14th that they'll move the tees up 1 or 2 days and make it drivable. So All that said, Quail Hollow is known for being long, and that challenging green mile, which consists of the final three holes. The 18th hole is nicknamed the Green Monster, one of the toughest finishing holes on the PGA Tour. Not really many water hazard to contend with, or really sand saves, but lots of scrambling, spraying it off the tee and whatnot. So if your game's not tight, you're going to be in trouble. So it, like I said, it is an elevated event. So we do have the best of the best, except for Scotty Scheffler, who's not in the field this week. He's still tending to the newborn. Well-deserved break. The guy doesn't have to play these tournaments. He's got money. So anyway, the greens are pretty healthy, 6,600 square feet of the so-called newish POA overseeding the Bermuda base, like we've had in Florida. This is kind of like before, later on in the summer in these coastal Florida and all that, they kill off the POA and then it goes pure Bermuda for the summer months. But we're not there yet, so we're still going to see some of that POA overseeding. Just kind of like we've seen in Florida earlier this year. So getting into the stats, we'll do that in here in just a second. 6 par fours from 450 to 500 yards, 2 over the 500-yard mark. Like I said, larger greens lead to 3 putts, opportunities gained, proximity, all that kind of good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into the stats and see what kind of models we're working with on the Fantasy National engine. Okay, welcome to Fantasy National. This is the model number 1 I just kind of put together. And it's a really kind of pretty standard. Some of the stuff I warned about, defensive stats, doubles avoided, 3-putt avoidance, I didn't weigh. I put 0% on so I could get more concentrated. And these are just the simple stats. I got a little bit of good drive, a lot of driving distance, tee to green, and the putting, more opportunities, the better. So things of that nature. I also have my mixed condition model, which I have more of opportunities gained, good drives, par 5 and birdies are better. I've got heavily weighted. So what I like to do is I've been playing with looking at both these mixed condition models. So you can go either way. Like Bhatia is number 1 in my mixed condition model, but he's 4th in my model rank. But I like them both to be close together. Tom Hoagie, I'm not down with him popping in all these stats. This course is I don't honestly think he's a big fit for this course. But one of the first things I do look at is tournament history. So I ordered it, and this is just overall tournament history. This tournament's been around for a while. Rory's played it a ton. He's won it and he's finished pretty highly and all. So he's obviously a guy. Max Homa's won this twice. One of it was actually not at Quail Hollow. It was actually at Avenel, a different golf course, but he still loves this golf course and he still plays it very well suited. So can't leave him out. I mean, the Jason Day, the old school guys like the Days and the Fowlers and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure what to do with Ricky. It's a no-cut event. I don't think I'll play him ever again, honestly. But guys like Keegan Bradley are up here. He's been off this year, but this is a nice bounce back week for him. He's only $6,900. We're going to get into ownership in here just a second, since it is Tuesday, a little bit later in the week that I like to get out, but it also gives us the benefit to see a little ownership, to see some pricing, to see some good stats, all that kind of cool stuff. So we'll get into that in a second, but I just wanted you to see, guys, Seamus Power is way up here. Look how cheap these guys are, 6,300 group Griot. These guys are going to be pretty chalky down here. Xander, Brendan Todd. And I just want to kind of scan through as we get down. I never really go down here and see who sucks. So let's flip it and see who hasn't had great history here. Jordan Spieth. He hasn't been playing good at all. Russell Henley. There's Tom Hoagie. Alex Noren, who had a great week last week. Taylor Pendrith actually won. Some of these guys have only played like once, like Taylor Pendrith. if nobody plays Taylor Pendrith this week, his game kind of suits this golf course in a way. I probably do wish it would be a little easier, but in that case, Taylor Moore is a guy I love to play on tough golf courses. You got Straka, Benny on looking like a pivot, but he hasn't just a couple but when you play this many times and you miss this many cuts and you've only lost a couple of strokes, might be large to do with putting. So mixed condition model. This is kind of what I wanted to show you real quick. Heavily on approach, heavily birdies are better, heavily par 5. Got a lot of good drives, ops gain, just general proximity. I just wanted to see what the buckets were. So I haven't really actually gotten more in depth with that, but you can see the buckets. I just be curious. I don't like buckets, but sometimes when you have these longer golf courses, you can see who's doing well. Like Eckroat's been playing well. Cole has slowly started to get back into his groove a little bit. Zalatoris is going to be interesting this week because of the withdrawal with precautionary back issues. He was really just didn't want to risk it more than he just wanted to withdraw. Sungjae M withdrew also. I didn't address that yet. I never really got a reason why M withdrew. So I'm sure there was a reason given, but he kind of messed things up for me last week, obviously. I'm sure other people as well. So, popularity's sake. Oh, let's get into the breakdown. I have not looked at this yet. This is very important. Like I said, the first 6 holes are all pretty much white knucklers. You need to just get in there and make your par. 2-putt pars are great. Then you get to number 7. It's a must birdie, but you do have almost a 4% eagle rate. So back to back, you got the short par 4 here. You need to go back to back and you need to grab a couple birdies. So if you've gone over par here, you can make them up in these next 4 holes as you make the turn. Then you turn in a decent stretch here. Really tough par 4, but the next 4 holes are doable. You have back-to-back easy holes in the drivable par 4 I discussed, number 14, then an easy par 5 15th before you hit that green mile, which is going to be extremely difficult. If the weather is not cooperating, that par 3 190 is kind of over water. So there's going to be definite water in play on that. So when you get down in here and you see what it's going to take from the top 10 finishers, we'll go top 5 since we have a smaller field. I'd rather get closer to the top 5. So you can see approach is always important, ball striking, the 3-putt avoidance gained. So you can see how important that is. Sand saves, it is what it is. Everybody needs to work out of the sand. But you can see how fairways gained are such little importance. You can also see greens gained, always important. But with the larger greens, you're going to have an easier time. But there's your 450 to 500. There's 6 holes of that nature. But then there's another 2 that are 500 plus. So that lumps you into 8 holes, almost half the par 4s. You only have that one easy sub 400 yard par 4. So that means you're not going to have the wedges. You can see under tour average for wedges, but then you're going to see a lot of 175 and a lot of 200 plus, not just from the par 3s themselves, but from drives not getting out there far enough on soft golf courses. You're going to have some of these 500 yard par 4s where you're going to have to hit from 208 out, especially some of the more short knockers. So you can see the green percentage is actually a little bit lower here, even with the larger greens. But scrambling is a bit down. Accuracy is always way down. 3 putts per round, way up, obviously. Driving distance, way up, obviously. Grip it and rip it. So these are just kind of your typical stats for everyone. And like I said, there's always stats you can tweak in your own particular way, but you need to be long off the tee. You need to be good with those mid irons. Like I would say, like your 7, 8, 9 irons. especially since you're going to have longer approaches, and then avoiding mistakes. That's what it is. Giving yourself opportunity and avoiding mistakes. Those two are going to be key. But you want more ops gained. I'll probably do more models this week with strictly the couple of the defensive stats, then just toss in scoring stats along with it. So that's just kind of some ideas I've had. Just like the mixed condition model, I like to do that as well. And then ownership. This is where I was saying this so far, it's just Tuesday, and these are just generated lineups. So I kind of look more at the actual, but as you get to Wednesday night and before lock, calculated ownership becomes more into play rather than actual lineup generators, because people aren't playing all these lineups. They're just going to generate lineups to see what they look like. That's what I do. So Aberg is out. So that was one pivot down. But you can see all these guys up here. I don't know why you wouldn't play Wyndham Clark at $1,000 cheaper than Xander. I know how Xander has been probably more long-term good, but Wyndham Clark has just been good, and Wyndham Clark has actually won some golf tournaments more recent than Xander. And he has more of those spike types of statistics where he can spike with the irons. He's long off the tee. Like I said, spike with the irons, spikes with the putter. He's probably the best POA putter in the field with the POA oversea, but he's good on any surface. So, things of that nature. Max Homa rips it. If he's driving the ball well, he's going to be hard to beat. Then you got guys like Morikawa, who likes tough courses, who hits it straight. He'll be in every fairway. His game's kind of coming around. Then you got a guy like Victor Hovland, who had to take a week or two off because he's having struggles with his swing. I believe he's been slightly injured. Thagala, you got to love Thagala in no-cut events. The dude just scores like a wild man with DraftKings scoring. Eagles, birdies. He might make a double or two here or there, but he's going to get you back in it, outscoring his finishing position. Then you got guys like JT who just grind it out. You can see he's going to be expensive or highly owned, even though he hasn't played well. All he needs is the RBC Heritage Open. He played good there. Everybody will be right back on him. He's probably $1,200 too cheap. He ought to at least be $9,700 in this field, even if he's not playing well. Then you got Spieth, who's not playing well, obviously. Tony Finau, who we really haven't seen a hell of a lot of, but a guy who fits this course really good, hits it a long way. His irons are decent. Right now, Willie Z's back after the WD. You can see all these guys. And then this is the range. So if you go from low 7Ks all the way up to 9, you can see there's only really one or two players that are going to be in the red, like Finau and JT. Everybody else is not being played because they're all going way up here, and then they're all going way down here. So you see you got a 6,300 Griot at 10%. That's pretty chalky for a low-priced guy. Eckroat has been a popular play. Taylor Moore's been a popular play. Kurt Kitayama for his course fit, 11.4%. Ricky Fowler, not going to do it. Adam Shank's been playing fantastic. He came through again last week. So, Rory is the top-priced guy. No Scotty this week. Wyndham Clark, Max Homa, chalk 1-2 start. Those two guys will probably be, if you separate those two, you're probably going to be different already, because I guarantee you they're going to be 1-2 in a lot of starting lineups. Maybe just skip the entire 9K range and go up top and hit up some 8,000 and high sevens guys. Aberg's WD, like I said, remove that first pivot. You can't call JT and Tony Finau pivots because they're too cheap and they're going to be 20%. But a guy like Matt Fitzpatrick, Cam Young are possibles. That whole range, Lowry up to Hideki Matsuyama, going overlooked. Low down dudes, Griot, Nick Taylor, Seamus Power, give you the salary and the comfort to play two guys down. So, like I said, Aberg out. This is just kind of a quick lineup I threw together. with just some leftover pieces. But like I said, the three most chalkiest guys in the whole thing, and then you got Seamus, you just fill it in with the rest of those guys. But maybe you try to go off of Clark, and then it would be risky, but Clark can be a guy that doesn't have it one week and ruin your week. But a guy like Fleetwood who plays well, you got guys like Homa and Thomas who have a lot of win equity. I don't feel like Fleetwood's got a lot of win equity, but you could throw him in there. Would be way different. Then you have Thigala, and you can still get way down here to a 7K guy. Your Shanks or your Kirks or Billy Hose or whatever. So maybe just trying to do even skipping the 9K range would probably be interesting, because then you would have something in the range of trying to play Cam Young at 8,800. And then you've got options here as well. Things like that. I just kind of just what I wanted to show you was how the pricing was set up. You can see how high up Rory is. He's a guy that recently won with Shane Lowry, so he might be starting to want to really kind of put a push together. This is a signature event, and he's won here before, so beware. So anyway, that'll cover the show this week. I appreciate you joining me for the research show. Pay attention to the weather. Pay attention to the tee times, where they're stacking up, who's playing with who. I'm going to be interested to see who's playing with Rory. I don't want to use 2 to 3 guys in a single lineup that are all playing in the same group. I don't like doing that. Somebody is going to feed off, 2 guys are going to feed off each other, and one dude's going to play bad. Or all it takes is one dude to have a really disastrous round to drag down your other 2 players because he's slowing them down and messing up their rhythm, things of that nature. So just keep that in mind. Still more time for research. Don't forget about the contest. More horse racing content coming soon also. So until then, see you soon. Thanks for watching.